Virgos, welcome to your April 2022 reading. Let's go ahead and just dive right in. And we have third eye chakra and defend to the end the worthwhile. So this is coming through as you've experienced a breakthrough and perception, awakening, so to speak. There has been something that happened as you end the month of March and move into the month of April. There's just some realization that you have sort of stumbled upon, and it has really opened up your eyes. So it's one of those things where once you know it, you can't unknow it. Once you see it, you can't unsee it, and it has really left its mark. Whatever it is that you have come into realization of has really left its mark on you. And it's one of those things where you can't turn back. You have no desire to turn back, and you are full in with this consciousness that you have kind of come in contact with, and the awakening that you have experienced. And you are just so involved now. And you're just consuming all the things that is only going to expand this awakening more. I do feel that the message that needs to come through now is to don't exhaust yourself. You've got time. You don't have to take it all in all right away. So don't be going overboard and exhausting yourself. Pace yourself. But this is something that I feel like is happening towards the end of March, beginning of April, is that you're just going to experience this huge awakening and this sudden awareness or consciousness that you're almost flabbergasted that you can't believe that you didn't recognize or see this all before. And like I said, it has you so engaged now that you're not going back. You can't go back. You know what you know, and no one can deny that you know it. There's nothing anybody can say that's going to change your mind. We have the Magician, and we have the Ace of, this is so interesting. We have the Magician and the Ace of Swords, and I feel like there's like new embarkment, new thinking, new processing, new incorporating things that you already know and understand, and seeing it in the light of this new information that you've received. There's just this awakening that is happening, and your whole mindset has changed. Your thought processing has changed. The way you take in narratives and other people's conversations, and how you interpret it, and how you perceive what they're saying, and the connections that you make. And there's research that's going on, and you're just applying, and there's a skill set that you already have. There's something that you've experienced in your past that sort of prepares you for consuming this information in a way that just is, it's so fulfilling. Not only makes you feel fulfilled because you're doing the research, but putting all the pieces together and then having conversations with other people who have experienced something similar in some regard. It just, like I said, there's no turning back. You feel unstoppable with just taking this information and running with it. I feel like for whatever reason, I'm getting this concept like a journalist, someone, whether you are a journalist or now you're contemplating trying to figure out ways that you can be something akin to a journalist, kind of spreading the information and trying to get other people to see things. And already, like I said, you already had the skill set that kind of allows you to be able to piece things together and present it in such a way that is going to reach more people. This is what I feel like you are coming across in the very, very early days of April. At the very least, the first half of the month of April. We have Cernunnos as the next card, and I feel like it's going to come to it's going to kind of come to a head. And I was sort of feeling that a little bit when I said that this is occurring mostly in the bulk of the beginning, the first 2 weeks at the very least of April. You are going to kind of come across or come against something, and I don't know if it's somebody or the process itself or some information that just makes you kind of stall in your research. or stall in you voicing your opinion, but you're going to kind of come against something that has you having to take a step back and take a pause. I feel like that might even be why at the beginning I mentioned something along the lines of making sure you pace yourself. You don't want to go in too hard, too fast, and exhaust yourself. There's time. You can take your time. But you are going to kind of come up against something, and it feels like it's towards the end of the month. It's not so much that it's going to have you question, because like I said, you know your truth, and it's just unmistakable, it's unshakable, and nothing's going to change what you know now. But it's going to have an impact on how you, how things are processed. And I'm not sure if it's how you consume or if it's how you present, or a combination of those two, but there's basically going to be a hiccup at some point towards somewhere around the third week of the month. It's going to slow you down. If you haven't been pacing yourself, it's going to feel like you've been forced to come to a screeching halt, even though it's not really going to be an absolute stop. If you haven't paced yourself, it's going to feel like a stop, because the contrast and the speed and momentum that you had in the beginning of the month is going to kind of wane when this event occurs. If you have paced yourself, you'll be able to kind of adjust accordingly, and it's not going to feel so crashing and so crushing. So I do think that pacing yourself is definitely the biggest key to take in with all of this as far as the month of April. Finally, we have this card, and for whatever reason, the first thing that came to mind was conspiracy. Take that however you want, however you will. I'll just leave that for you and your guides and your higher self to have a conversation about. But the card is actually about compassion, and I feel like this is tapping into whatever it is that's going to kind of create a hiccup, as I said. The compassion is for you to have compassion with yourself, because this is a new awakening for you. So there's a lot to take in, a lot to process. So don't overburden yourself with extremely high expectations. Pace yourself. Again, that seems to be one of the biggest things that's coming through for you in this particular message for the month of April. All right, Virgo, that's all I have for you. I hope that this reading has given you clarity and insight and provided you with more than you were hoping for. I hope the month of April is a beautiful month for you, and hopefully I will see you in a future video.